Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Combat Insiders. Well, we are kind of in our own little skybox, so to speak. I got special guest Jose Shorty Torres here. He just happened to be in the area. So in case you're wondering what's going on, it's a special treat. So we're actually we're recording, I guess you could say commentary. We're watching the BKFC 6 card right in front of us. We got a great view. One of the best seats in the house up here. And, I tell you what, guys, the best thing to do when you get the pay-per-view, because this isn't live, but when it comes out, time this up, sync this up with the commentary, sync this up with the fight. We're starting with Reggie Barnett Jr. and Johnny Bedford. Shorty, this fight is one thing that's typical amongst whether it's boxing, MMA, or bare knuckle, whatever. This is your typical technical guy versus the brawler.
Okay.
Right? And I guess it kind of translates across all the combat sports. What does the technical guy have to do, and what does the brawler have to do?
So the biggest thing is the technical guy needs to pick his shots. He needs to keep the space and keep the brawler away from him and make sure whatever punches he does throw, he picks his shots properly, because if not, the brawler's going to eat it up and start doing what he does best, and that's going wild. Again, almost every single fight on the card has been the technician versus the brawler, and the technicians always start off strong. It's amazing. The only problem is they gas out faster because those brawlers come in, they clinch, they dirty box, and they outwork the technician, because the technician's only known for throwing ones, twos, maybe three-punch combinations. But those brawlers, they don't care what they get hit by, the kitchen sink or anything else. They just keep on going. And this relentless fight, again, 5 2-minute rounds, it ends pretty fast.
I guess maybe speak on that. I mean, whereas say MMA is 5 or 5 or 3 rounds, depending on whether it's main event, championship. And then you got boxing, right? And this is kind of like, this is more of a sprint versus a marathon when you really compare it to MMA or boxing, really, because like you said, it's 5 2-minute rounds. You don't have 10, 15 minutes to get warmed up and get going into that next gear. You have 10 minutes total. That's it. That's all you get. What do you think that does in terms of like preparation? Do you think it's harder on the body in terms of preparation for a fight?
You have 10 minutes to fight. Like you said, you can't waste a round. But the crazy thing is one punch can change this whole thing, and that's the crazy thing about the fight game. Whether it's bare knuckle boxing, MMA, or actual boxing, or any other combative sport, one punch or just any type of contact can end it all. But the fact here, you got some guys just going above and beyond, but you have 10 minutes to work. Regardless, like say a lot of UFC or MMA veterans are here, used to 15 minutes. Yeah. But the crazy thing is, these guys are going full out. Again, this fight's just started, and they're already swinging for the fences because they know they only have 2 minutes to work, prove a point, and go, hey, I want to win every single round. And if not, get that drop to win 2 rounds ahead of 1.
Yeah, and this Johnny Bedford, he's known for going forward,
and Barnett's already down.
He's already down. Reggie Barnett got hit hard on that one. As I was saying, he's known for going forward. Reggie Barnett is more the technical striker. He's more your classic boxer. Johnny Bedford, he comes from more of a MMA background.
And that's the hard part. When you're a technical boxer, that's awesome. But again, remember, this is bare knuckle boxing. You don't have any padding on those hands. The defense is completely different. So the brawlers always had the advantage in this sport. And right now, you're seeing that.
You think if Johnny keeps this pressure up, you think it's possible he might waste all his energy. If he can't finish Reggie right here, Reggie can withstand the storm, I think that spells bad news for Johnny.
It definitely could be bad news, but those technicians, again, aren't used to being outworked so fast. They're usually taking a nice slow pace, throwing ones and twos, picking their shots. But when you have such a small ring or cage, these guys are just pushing the pace regardless. And he's already been dropped. So it does affect your gas tank. Regardless if it's 2 minutes or not, it does take a toll on the body.
What is it like when it's got that constant grind and constant pressure on you, not letting you breathe? What does that do to your mentality and whatever game plan you thought you had going into it?
Usually there's fight or flight, and most of the time, if you're the technical guy and you're getting bum rushed, well, that technique goes out of the window. Now you're fighting a brawl against a brawler. It's like going against John Lineker. It's probably a really bad idea to start brawling with John Lineker. Most of these brawlers have the advantage if they keep throwing their combinations and keep the pressure up. But once they start moving back, the technician's going to do what he wants. He's going to pick his shots and win every single round.
And there it is. Okay, it looked like Reggie kind of withstood the storm. He got knocked down a couple times. And it looked like Johnny Bedford maybe kind of slowed down, whether it was because he started getting tired or maybe he realized, hey, I got to reel it back in just a little bit if I'm not going to put Reggie away.
And that's the thing. A lot of these guys, these brawlers, again, they're amazing, but they blow their load too fast. They just go bum rush. They drop a guy. I want to do it again. Now they're swinging even harder than they originally intended. There goes that second round. All right, I'm only going to take a break for 1 round. But that 1 round, you took more of a beating you expected. Now, third round comes in. Man, now I'm really falling behind. Even though I'm winning technically 2 rounds to 1, that takes a toll on the body. And 5 rounds go by real fast, and it's only 2 minutes long.
No, 100%, man. Reggie, like I said, he's the technical boxer. He's known for, I don't want to say taking his time, but he definitely kind of likes to feel out his opponent. And usually the first round, even in bare knuckle, he doesn't tend to have a whole lot of offense. Usually his offense comes in the second, third, and fourth rounds.
Well, that's the good thing about these technical fighters. Again, Barnett picking his shots, being the technical fighter, the technician, waiting. Even though he's getting beat up that first round, that second round, he's picking his shots, moving back and forth. You see him now bouncing back and forth, trying to catch the rhythm, trying to make the brawler force a shot. Now the technique can come in and open that window.
Another thing, too, coming into this fight, there was a lot of bad blood between them. Johnny had a lot of choice words to say about Reggie, and they just kind of had a really bad back and forth. And they've been wanting to fight each other for almost a year because this is the finals of the lightweight tournament. They were supposed to fight each other actually about a year ago today. And finally, this whole thing has just been a year building up. And everybody knew that these guys were going to end up in the finals. It's like, everybody knew these were the predictions. One of these guys is going to win, and here we are. And I'll tell you what, so far, it's almost exactly what you think it is on paper. We knew Johnny Bedford was going to come out swinging, and we knew Reggie was going to have his in and out, like you said, bounce back and forth kind of offense.
And he's being smart. Barnett is now picking his shots. This third round is much different from that first round. Bedford was pushing the pace, going forward. Now he's a little timid. All right, I'm taking a little more shots than I expected. Maybe I blew my load a little too fast. Maybe let me try to recoup. But again, Barnett is picking his shots, going back and forth, circling, not moving straight back to where Bedford could easily attack. And again, you see him landing significant strikes, not just going to the head, but also going to the body, taking the steam out of Bedford's punches.
Does it almost kind of work against you if you're the brawler and you're, like you said, you're kind of blowing your wad in the first round and you're throwing everything you got and it's not enough to put the guy away? Does it almost work against you in the later rounds and you've got nothing left? All your juice is gone. Does it affect the mental game for the later rounds?
It's crazy. I always say I'm not afraid of the guy out-brawling me. I'm afraid of me out-brawling myself. And I say that in the conditioning aspect where, again, I go too hard, too fast, and out of nowhere, second, third, fourth, fifth round, I'm now gasping for air, not because of what my opponent's doing, but because of what I'm doing to myself. Bedford, again, had a great game plan that first round, but these next few rounds, he slowed down significantly. Even though he won dominantly that first one, he's taking a couple good shots by Barnett because he's picking his shots, not just going to the head, but going to the body and making Bedford really think twice. Should I do what I did in the first round, or should I kind of slow it down? And right now, we're seeing him slow down a lot.
What would you say, 1-1 so far? Would you give that second round to Barnett?
I do. Again, he's picking his shots, and now he's circling. He's actually making this a boxing fight instead of a brawl.
Yeah. I wonder what the game plan, I wonder what he's talking about in the corner for Bedford, because like I said, it's got to be disheartening, especially with all the trash talk that he coming into this fight. And then, like you said, blowing his wad, I've got to wonder if that's going to just play into the mental games of him.
Oh, 100%. Again, this is a fighting sport. It's fight or flight. And even though our pride is what drives us, sometimes your pride can actually get you really, really hurt. And like we saw with Bedford, he blew his wad the very first round. Second round, he slowed down a little bit. Third round coming up,
Yeah.
He's picking his shots now. He's moving his head a little more. Now he's trying to be more of a technical type of fighter, but that's also Barnett's strength.
100%. No, 100% you're right. And by the time it gets to that point, he's got to know that maybe he's in a losing battle. By the time he tries to out-technical Barnett, that's not going to be a good feeling. It's got to be a great feeling, Barnett, because now we're in his world.
Yeah, Barnett's fast. He's elusive. He's quick. You see him moving back, circling, not just going straight back, but taking that angle. But Bedford's pushing the pace, and again, getting him against the ropes. That's where he needs to have his opponent the entire time.
What was that, an eye poke? What was that?
Eye poke, possibly a low blow. It's the only hard part about these scuffles. Again, the dirty boxing works perfectly fine, but sometimes fingers can, enter the eyes, or no mitts anymore. There's nothing, for example, the Everlast gloves that curve your hand to point your fingers down. Sometimes you get into that scuffle. Fingers, even knuckles fly everywhere.
Even with the MMA, boxing, whatever, is it in the fighter's best interest, even if they get the eye poke, it's not that bad, just to take the full count? Take the full count as long as you can, even if it's, your eye's not really that bad off.
Especially in this fighting style, and you're fighting a guy who's a conditioning guy, you already know he's in shape, so might as well recoup yourself. If you know he's in shape, you coming back straight to it is not going to take him out of shape. It's not going to take him off his game. That's what he wants. So catch your breath. But Barnett took a nice overhand right. He wobbled a little bit. He got stunned, but now he's again going southpaw, trying to change it up.
It seems like he's picking him apart. It seems like Bedford's getting a little frustrated. He wants Reggie to stand in front of him and trade and bang, but Reggie is like, nope, you're in my world now.
And Bedford's trying to intimidate him again, like that smack talk you were saying earlier. And beautiful straight right.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the biggest thing you see with southpaw versus orthodox. That power hand is always there. He intimidated his opponent. He taunted him, drew him in, and that straight right was right there. That's the second time Barnett's been hit. Clean. Now, how is that going to impact the fight? Again, these rounds, if he keeps on going the way it is, it's not just round one. That counts as two.
No, exactly. I mean, his legs look okay. He doesn't seem to be too damaged from that.
And remember, with these bare knuckles, one shot can end it all, or one shot for sure can definitely stun you or flash KO you. And that, as we've seen throughout the whole card, that's what happens a lot is they might not be out, but man, you definitely took a good shot. You need a full 10 seconds to recoup and recover.
Shorty, how important was that knockdown? Because right before that, I think I would have said Reggie was probably winning that round.
Yeah.
And then right when that happened, what did the judges see? That last thing before, that was the last thing before the end of the round. Are the judges is that gonna sway the judges to score?
Oh, definitely. You have to score the knockdown automatically, 2 points, and go. All right, you technically did more of the damage, even though your opponent landed a little bit more. You landed the more significant strikes, or even just strike single. You never know. Again, one punch can end it all, and even though one punch didn't end it, it did change the outcome of the round.
No, 100%.
And this fight, as you see, is going back and forth. That's the crazy thing about the fight game. Doesn't matter if you're a brawler, a technical fighter, whatever the case may be. One punch can not just change the fight, but end it as well.
You think that's what Bedford is kind of looking for here? Just kind of that one punch killer?
Well, he's throwing combinations, but it's the fact of his combinations are relentless, and whatever punch lands, I know he's definitely happy and intimidating Barnett to move back. He's taunting him to drive forward, and that's when he gets that clean shot in, is when Barnett tries to retaliate and gets caught with that. And again, Barnett has some great movement, but he's not landing the significant strikes. He's landing clean strikes,
right,
but nothing causing a lot of damage to say, hey, Bedford, maybe you should stop walking forward.
Well, I think that's the one thing with bare knuckle, whereas, say, boxing or even MMA, when you get hit with a jab bare knuckle, maybe it hurts a little more, than it does typically with, like I said, even MMA or boxing.
Yeah, and like we were talking about off air, again, in boxing, you can do the Philly shell, you can do the peekaboo type of defense. The only problem is these guys punch your shoulders, these guys punch your forearms. This stuff hurts. It's nothing but Charlie horses. Unless it actually hits a bone, then you hear a bat hitting a baseball. You just hear the clink, every single time. And I mean, I broke my hand before doing MMA. I could just imagine these guys, their hands after. But again, every single punch takes a toll on the body.
What do you do when that happens, when you break your hand in the middle of a fight? Is it something at that moment, the adrenaline just kind of kicks in and you're just like, you know what? You just bite down on the mouthpiece and just keep going?
It depends on, how significant the handbrake is. When I broke my hand, I knew it was broken, but I go, you know what? Let me try throwing it one more time. All right, no, I feel it. Let me give it a little bit of a break. But after so long, your adrenaline really kicks in. Your hand starts to swell up, but it goes numb. Cool, I'm just going to keep on throwing and just go from there. But if it's too bad, again, then there's nothing you can do. Just keep on throwing your jab and play it from there. But for me, my right hand was broken. It eventually went numb, and I kept on throwing. And actually, I broke it that much more. It was really, really bad. It was really bad.
This was an interesting round because Bedford, you could tell he's trying to lure him in, try to lure him into that brawl game. And Reggie, again, just like in round 3, he's not having it. I don't know who really had the advantage. Bedford did get a couple really good shots. Barnett had a couple really clean jabs, like you said. Maybe not, some heavy hitters, didn't do a lot of damage. How would you score that round?
That round's really hard because it depends what type of judge you are. What do you want? Do you want more punches landed, or do you score the more significant strikes?
Sure.
And how many compared to, again, all the strikes landed in total by your opponent? So for me, I think Barnett was landing the cleaner shots and landing more of the shots. Even though Bedford was pushing the pace every once in a while, he wasn't as aggressive as those 2 rounds he got the drop. So I'm going to say, it's 2-2 technically, but because Bedford dropped his opponent twice, it's 2 extra rounds for him.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Coming into the 5th and final round, I don't know. The 4th round is kind of hit and miss for me. I'm not sure who won it.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, it's 4-2 if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
No matter what, Barnett has to finish this fight.
No, 100%. I think, Barnett has to finish, 100%.
So when it comes to being the technical striker, you have no choice but to finish. It's the 5th round, the 5th and final round. Hey, man, sometimes you got to throw that technique out of the window. You have some style and swagger, but you got to get this finish. You have to get the knockout. Sometimes you have to brawl back.
And once again, though, that plays into Bedford's strength. Bedford has kind of painted Barnett into a corner. Barnett doesn't want to get into those wild exchanges with Bedford, but like you said, he kind of has no choice now.
Well, he has no choice, and that's where you go, hey, man, I'm going to swallow my pride even though I'm the technical fighter. My punches aren't doing as much damage as I expected them to, and I only have a few minutes left. Every second is a huge thing, goes by very, very fast. You got to get the knockout. If you're going to lose, might as well lose the way you should lose, and that's going all in or nothing. And again, this round's going back and forth still.
Yeah.
First 30 seconds are very, very aggressive by both. Barnett is picking his shots, but again, nothing super significant. Nothing to wobble Bedford and push him back.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Reggie definitely looks a little more aggressive in this round, but it's still in and out. A little more aggressive than the previous rounds. I think he knows, he's in a pickle of a situation right now.
And he definitely is. And again, this brawl type of contest, even if it clips you in the top of the head, even if it clips you in the side, you blocking it, whatever the case may be, you can still get rocked blocking a punch in this sport.
No, 100%, man.
That's the hard part. It's not fun. And this round's definitely an entertaining one because, one, Bedford is trying to push the pace like he's been doing this whole fight. But Barnett knows that he's losing this fight. So he's pushing the pace. Or at least we believe he's losing the fight.
Yeah, I don't know how I score that round either. Again, Barnett had some clean shots, just like in round 4. Barnett had a couple clean shots. Bedford landed a couple times, probably the heavier hits. I don't know. I give Bedford round 1. I definitely give Barnett round 2. Bedford was round 3 because he had the knockdown. Round 4 and 5 is up in the air, and like you said, I guess it just depends on whether the judges want more cleaner shots or the heavier shots. What's going to weigh heavier in the judge's mind?
And if we look at it that way, Bedford got 2 drops, one in the first round, one in the third round. So if we look at it that way, that's 4 rounds because you have to score it as a double point. So it's 4 rounds automatically in a 5-round contest. So you have 3 other rounds left. It's technically 4-3. That's Bedford's win. But again, I think in the third round, the round was a little closer. Did did Barnett do just enough to keep it a 10-9 round for Bedford? So, again, it depends, and this is why I'm definitely not a judge. I am 100% a fighter.
You know what? And it's easy, whenever there's a crazy ruling, it's easy, I guess, to kind of sit back and ridicule it and play Monday morning quarterback with it and be like, oh my God, that was a robbery, or, I would have judged it this way. But I mean, it's not an easy job, especially with a fight like this.
It's definitely not an easy job. Heck, I was watching the last fight, and I was completely different from what the judges thought. I thought it was actually going to be a draw, but it ended up being, I think it was 49-45, and I was just like, all right, well, I must have scored it differently. And again, these judges take the classes, they study the fights, and they've done this multiple times where all three of them saw it the same decision. So, again, even though I'm a fighter, I'm also not a judge.
Yeah, no, 100%. Anxiously awaiting I'm really anxiously awaiting the decision here. I have a feeling it's probably going to lean towards Bedford. That's just my initial gut feeling here. But again, if they give it to Barnett, I've got no argument there either. And there you have it, Johnny Bedford, the new BKFC lightweight champion. Congratulations to Johnny Bedford. That was a hell of a fight, back and forth. I think if Reggie would have won it, I don't think there would have been too many complaints, but he did have the knockdowns in the first round. He had the knockdowns in the third round. He had the heavier shots.
And that's what wins the fights. Mainly in 5-round contests. If you score that knockdown, that counts as 2. Hey, all you need to do is win one more round. You might win 3-2. And that's how a lot of the fights have gone today, but Bedford was able to get 2 different knockdowns, 2 different rounds, solidify the win, and he's a new champion because of it.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Check out the next video. We'll be back with the co-main event.